You've probably heard of Sigmund Freud, I can tell. But Sigmund Freud is to psychology what Jerry West is to the NBA. Don't know who Jerry West is? See, I read your mind. Jerry West is the guy on the NBA logo. He was a pioneer, especially for whites, in basketball, and held his own for some time. But Michael Jordan was about to come in a few short decades and take the entire game to a whole nother level. Now, who's the Michael Jordan of psychology? Good question. The charisma, the energy, the dominance, the talent. The Michael Jordan of psychology is Carl Jung. We are talking about talent here, pure, unadulterated, sheer talent, and taking the field to another level. Carl Jung is to psychology what Einstein is to physics, what Michael Jordan is to basketball. Must I go on? I think you get the point now. But you're usually hearing about Freud. So let me give you a little bit of history. Carl Jung actually psychoanalyzed Freud using his own foundational theories of psychological types. And Freud just couldn't take that the student was surpassing the teacher, so he cut ties with Carl Jung. Now, Freud was especially salty because Carl Jung was actually his favorite star student, and Freud wanted Jung to carry the torch on his behalf. Now, don't get me wrong, Freud was an analytical genius and a gifted investigator of psychology, and he was an actual pioneer. He paved the way for Jung, but what he didn't realize is that Carl Jung was on a whole nother level in terms of mind and intuition. He was just a higher caliber thinker, and he encompassed a lot of world spirituality into his psychological theories. Freud really doubted Jung, so Jung basically said, hold my tobacco pipe, and created such a grand psychological theory that Freud's approach was just a piece of the puzzle. He even took care of Freud's competition, the school of Adler, who based his psychology on power the way Freud did with sexuality. Freud and Adler were like the Democratic and Republican parties today in America. Competing schools of thought, but only two tribes. Carl Jung basically broke that two-party matrix by explaining that the differences in their approaches are not differences of right and wrong, but rather it was a difference of attitude or type. Freud's being an extroverted approach and Adler's being an introverted approach to the same problem. Imagine a third political party which explains with evidence how the principles of Democratic and Republican parties can both be used to build a greater society. Imagine that. That's what Carl Jung did. He psychoanalyzed his teachers using his own groundbreaking theory, changing and shaping the field of psychology forever. Myers-Briggs, the MBTI, is based completely on Jung's theories, and it's just the tip of the iceberg.